asleep, dreaming I was away. This world confused me and led me astray. Yes, it led me astray. What could I be to please my mother? What could I do to bring peace to my father? I was spinning around till I finally found that part of me that was always free. Now I am here for my God to reveal what was said in the beginning. Yes, I am. I am here for my God to reveal what was said in the beginning. If you're walking asleep, pulled by the weight of this world, so turned around till it's hard to discern what is up or what is down. Stand still and be your own salvation. You are a child of God's creation. May our hearts be open. Oh, may our hearts be open.
Good morning and welcome to our Heartstream. And take the time now to turn within. Giving thanks for this day and for yet another opportunity to be one in spirit, to lift and raise our consciousness, recognizing and realizing that God is all there is, knowing that as we go forth in this celebration, that all is well, knowing that we're connecting across the miles, connecting in this virtual way with so many people, so many lives that are touched by what it is that we do here today. I'm grateful and thankful for all of the things that have gone into making this Heartstream possible, for the music, the affirmative reading, for the prayers, and for everything else. We know that as we continue in this celebration, that the words and the music and everything else, the vibrations of that, go out and touch lives, go out and change lives, and all truly is well. I remember those who are on our prayer list, knowing indeed that whatever the reason for them, that they find Spirit guiding and directing their lives, healing and comforting and strengthening and encouraging and everything else. And I know that this extends to those who are watching this Heartstream, to our Open Heart community at large, and to the world at large. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we're rejoicing and being glad in it. And so it is.
still some cry along the way.
Walking through the sadness,
For a world that needs to know
love can take us higher. Reveal the way to greater love.
Oh yeah. So the truth keeps telling me,
Love the only answer.
and to all humanity,
We can stay inspired. Reveal the way to greater love.
so
We let it,
wash over us,
we let it,
make us kinder,
we let it,
make us better,
we let it be. We let it,
early in the morning,
we let it,
hold us together,
we let it,
now and forever,
we let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the door wash
What comes from the heart reaches the heart. Good morning and welcome to our Heartstream for this Sunday, January the 8th, 2023. This actually is officially the 21st year anniversary of Open Heart. I'm so proud of the fact that we have continued for these 21 years. I know that things have changed for us in that because of COVID, we became virtual and we have continued to be virtual. And I know there are people who wish that we would be able to be in person, and in the future, there's the possibility of that happening. But I just appreciate each and every one of you right here and right now who continue to join this Heartstream each week, who are part of our celebration, who contribute, who are knowing that in this way that we're able to reach so many people. I just had a wonderful conversation on yesterday with Michelle Montgomery, who is now living in Seattle. And she just shared how the teachings of Open Heart have helped her over the years. And even there, as she faces many different challenges in life, like we all do, how it's the teachings of Open Heart that have helped her. And I'm grateful and thankful for that. And again, I'm grateful and thankful for 21 years. I do ask for your prayers in that our cousin, and I say our cousin, it's Emma's cousin, my wife Emma's cousin, but from the very beginning when I met him, he told me, your cousin, your family know by marriage anything, who tragically lost his life. And we want to ask that you continue to pray for the family, to hold a space for them, and sending love and light to each and every one. And knowing this and trusting this, knowing that God is all there is and all fades into God. It is indeed a shock, but we continue to move forward, knowing that things happen in life, but we continue to have faith and hold on to the hope that is there and continue to trust Spirit guiding and directing us in all that we do. I'd also like to say that I will be announcing very soon a new class for the new year. We want to continue providing opportunities for learning, opportunities for expanding and growing. And so there will be an announcement very soon about a new class that will take place for us, for those of you that would like to join us. I participate, and I've been doing so for the last 2.5 years in courses that are offered by Christ Universal Temple out of Chicago. And I know how my life is enriched by that. It's virtual, but it's been an opportunity to learn so much and to grow so much. And I want to continue Open Heart offering those opportunities for people as well. And as always, I greet you. I bless you. I see God in you.
Our affirmation for the month of January: divinely free. I am divinely free in 2023. And so it is.
All right, we're going to take, this is really like the third take, and a half, or something like that.
3.5.
3.5. All right, we're starting at the beginning.
All right.
All right.
It goes on without you, leaving you behind if you cannot stay in place. The world, well, it keeps on spinning. Can't stop it if you try to. This heart is danger, staring you in the face. Ooh, listen as your days unfold. Challenge what your future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. Lovers, they may cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up and be counted. Don't be ashamed to cry. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough. You got to be stronger, you gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know is love will save the day. Herald what your mama said, read the books your daddy read. Try to solve the puzzles in your own time. Some may have forecast you, others take a different view. My, oh my, yeah. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wiser. You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough. Got to be stronger, you gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know is love will save the day. Time has no questions. It goes on without you, leaving you behind if you cannot stand the pace. The world keeps on spinning. Can't stop it if you try to. This heart is danger, staring you in the face. Ooh, listen as the days unfold. Challenge what your future holds. Try to keep your head up to the sky. The lovers, they cause you tears. Go ahead, release your fears. Stand up, be counted. Don't be ashamed to cry. No, you gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wise, you gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be strong, you gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know is love don't save the day, 'cause I know what I know. I know. There ain't no doubt in my mind. I'm talking about love. It won't stand divided. It's about living your life, and it's mighty, mighty. I'm talking about love every day. It's about living your life in a loving way. I'm talking about LOVE. It's about you and me. I said love, you know love. Hey, 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 hey. You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be wise, you gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you got to be strong. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm, you gotta stay together. All I know is love to save the day. It don't matter what's going on with you. It sure don't matter, 'cause I know one thing is true. You gotta be cool, Lord, don't be low. All I know is love to save the day. Yes, it will. Be bold. You gotta be hard. You gotta be strong, be cool. Lord, don't be low. All I know is love to save the day. Like, got a call.
All right.
Good morning. This Sunday's affirmative reading comes from I Am God's Song, the inspired wisdom of James Dillett Freeman. The selection is Rivers Hardly Ever. Rivers hardly ever run in a straight line. Rivers are willing to make 10,000 meanders and enjoy every one, and they grow from every one. When they leave a meander, there are always more than when they entered it. When rivers meet an obstacle, they do not try to run over it. They merely go around. But they always get to the other side. Rivers accept things as they are, conform to the shape they find the world in, yet nothing changes things more than rivers. Rivers move even mountains into the sea. Rivers hardly ever are in a hurry. Yet, is there anything more likely to reach the point it sets out for than a river?
Hey, 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 here come the announcements.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a happy day. Today is a day like no other day. Just think and you'll know that it's true. Days like today should be holidays. So I'm singing this message to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Just have a happy day.
Our daily affirmative prayer call takes place each and every morning at 8 a.m. Central Time. Dial in as one of our prayer team members shares an inspirational reading and then prays for you, all in about 7 minutes. At Open Heart, we believe in the power of affirmative prayer. We don't beg or plead God to do anything, but we set our intention and recognize God expressing itself in, through, and as each and every person. As such, all of these individuals and families that are represented here, we see them healed, we see them comforted, we see them strengthened, we see them encouraged, we see whatever it is that they have a need for and a desire for, and we hold the space for them, knowing it's already done in the mind of God. And so it is. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am richly blessed, creating a greater and greater and greater flow. We have ways in which you can give and support Open Heart through Cash App. Our cash tag is OHSC901. You can go online to our website, OHSC901.com. Click on the word give and contribute there. Or you can text the word give to 615-422-4292. Infinite prosperity is mine to share. I am blessed. Thank you for your gifts. Thank you to all of you who have signed up to support us through Amazon Smile. If you haven't done so, you can do so today.
You can do this. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Don't try to figure it out. Just do it.
That was right on time.
Don't try to figure it out. Just do it.
All right, here we go.
the center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from my center at the center of me. Please let me feel inner peace from my center at the center of me.
I welcome you to the centering moment. Let us take a breath in and out. And step into the flow of this moment, of this space, as we enter this new year of opportunity, possibilities, miracles, and so much more. Let us choose to everyday center and step into the flow. And remember that serenity is always our choice. This is a reading from the Daily Word. Peace and calm are mine as I take a serenity pause. Serenity is the perfect counterpart to activity, essential to the ebb and flow of life. I find time to pause, even briefly, to regain my balance by immersing myself fully in the presence of the divine. I remember Master Teacher Jesus went to the mountain to pray. I take my cue from this story and step away from my activities, however briefly, and practice the presence of the divine. Uttering simple prayers, I am grateful, or I breathe the breath of life, or I am at peace in the presence of God, leads me back to serenity. These prayerful pauses keep me calm and focused, able to move forward with greater energy and peace. I give thanks for the blessings and for experiencing the peace of knowing I can always find serenity in the presence of God. In this centering moment, in the flow of all that is, join me in taking a serenity pause. Let us breathe in and out. And so it is.
I remember when we stayed with some friends in Florida who were originally from the Dominican Republic. It was a lot of Spanglish that went on those days there in the house. But I know that the grandmother, the couple had a child who I think was about 6 at the time. And the grandmother, whenever she would try to get him to act right and to do things, she would always say, "Want to see Santa Claus? Want to see Santa Claus?" And she would say that over and over and over again. And I thought to myself, well, that might work once or twice, but, here it was, I think around June or so, and Santa Claus was a ways off. And in a child's mind, I'm not sure if the connection that, it's not time for Santa Claus. Now, I'm not sure that connection is going to necessarily be there, but it was her attempt to try and get him to act the way that she felt that he needed to correct him and correct his behavior. Want to see Santa Claus. And I thought about that as I thought about our theme for this month, Divinely Free. And I wanted to talk about that this morning. And something else that came to mind is a song that I remember hearing, trying to keep it real compared to what? And that's our title for this message this morning, trying to keep it real compared to what? And some of the words that I think are appropriate here: church on Sunday, sleep and nod, trying to duck the wrath of God, preachers filling us with fright, trying to tell us what he thinks is right. He's got to really be some kind of stupid nut, trying to make it real compared to what? Compared to what? Catherine Ingram tells the story of a 6-year-old who asked her, "Pretend you are surrounded by 1,000 hungry tigers. What would you do?" She says she tried to visualize possible scenarios, and she tried to think about this way or that way or whatever else, but she really couldn't come up with the solution. So she finally said to the boy, she said, I don't know, what if I'm surrounded by 1,000 hungry tigers, what am I to do? And he simply said, stop pretending. And I know that's a cute story, but it's amazing how many situations that we find ourselves in are the result of our own version of 1,000 hungry tigers. That the notion of being surrounded by 1,000 hungry tigers puts us in a fear mode. And then our perception of the world and everything that we do is based on fear. Fear we won't see Santa Claus. Fear that someone's out to get us. Fear that we won't have enough. Fear for many kinds of things. Or fear of hell. Yes, fear of hell. Because so often I encounter people whose motivation for doing quote unquote the right thing is not because it is the right thing to do, but because they have had the indoctrination that if they don't do certain things, if they don't act certain ways, if they are not approaching life from a certain standpoint in a religious sense, then they are doomed to hell. And I can recall a woman who had come to Open Heart, and she really liked our teachings. She had been drawn to us because she had read the book by Florence Scovel Shinn, The Game of Life and How to Play It. It really resonated with her. She came there and she listened to the things that we were saying, the teaching that we were doing there. And she said, I really want to believe this, but what if you're wrong? I'm scared. I'm afraid of hell. And I could see in her face there was tangible fear. So much in the case of religion has been placed on us, in the fear of hell. So much has been put on us to restrict our freedoms. We see that more and more these days, where in the name of religion, legislation passed that will try and determine how people can love and who can get married and what can be said in schools and how we can refer to people. And all of those things out of the name, in the name of religion, so much of it based on fear, so much of it based on control, so much of it. And I think about that and how we have this today. And so my idea of talking about the fact of being divinely free is recognizing that in our teaching, it is not about fear. In our teaching, it is not about a sense of hell being something that we will face, because after all, if we really want to be truthful about it, we know that hell was really an invention and the kind of thing that was done to make people fearful, to get them to conform. It's something that over the centuries has gained a whole sense of being, a whole sense of itself. And a lot of the things that we hear taught in churches even today about hell and about the devil and all of that are really more based on Dante's Inferno than they are about the kinds of teachings that were taking place and the beliefs that were happening in Jesus's day. And I know for some people that's radical. I know for some people they can't necessarily deal with it. And I know when I'm confronted by people who ask me, aren't I afraid of hell? Aren't I afraid of being condemned at the end to hell because I don't believe in the way that they believe, that I don't practice the way that they think that I ought to practice? And my response to them is that how can a loving God, one who is, we are the expression of, then all of a sudden condemn us to eternal damnation for whatever reasons, that the idea that hell exists and that this judgment and all of that, when we really get to it and when we really understand what it's all about, is based on fear and control. So I'm here today to talk about, when I talk about freedom, I'm talking about it compared to what? Compared to the kinds of teachings that would try to take us away from that. Because we are a truth teaching. And I know the scripture that immediately comes to mind. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Not, we hear oftentimes people will say the truth shall make you free. No, it's you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And this knowing is not a matter of intellectual knowing, but this knowing is knowing in a sense, in a way in which we practice it in our lives, in which we put it into practice in our lives. Knowing the truth, that truth making us free. We recognize and we realize that we can make that shift, that we can stop pretending, and we can change our thinking. We can change our lives. Yes, we can do it. Yes, we have the power to do it. Yes, we have the ability to do it. Yes, We have the teachings that help us to recognize and to realize and to know this. At Open Heart, in our purpose statement, we declare that we set our intention to practice the spiritual truth that there is one presence and one power in the universe, God. And when we realize that, when we practice that truth, all else fades away. When we realize that there is one presence and one power in the universe, God, that takes fear out of the situation. That takes control out of the situation. That means that all else fades away because there's only one power. I'm not afraid. We don't have a devil to be afraid of. We don't have a hell to be afraid of. We know that there's one presence and one power that empowers us, that we have the ability to live, move, and have our being in this presence. And when we do this, when we understand that, and I know that some people say, oh, so does that mean you could do just whatever it is that you want to do? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about that because I recognize that our actions have consequences. As we say in this teaching, we are not punished for our sins, but by them, meaning that when we miss the mark, because that's simply what sin means. If we miss the mark, there are consequences that we will have to pay. But they are the result of our actions. They're the result of our choosing things. But it's not because we are being punished by some outside force that will punish some people and allow other people to go free and all of that. But it's about knowing the truth. And it's recognizing the freedom that we have, that we can change our thinking, we can change our lives, we can know that truth is abounding and abiding within us and all of that. And this independence, this freedom provides us with benefits. First, it helps us to be free to respond rather than to react. To be free to respond rather than react. I remember years ago here in Memphis, there was a minister who used to have a segment on TV. Many of you may recall Maxie Dunham. And he would tell these wonderful stories and illustrations. And one that has stayed in my mind all of these years was about a man who, there was a newspaper stand outside of his office. Every morning he would go to that newspaper stand to buy a newspaper. And he had a friend with him one morning, and he walks up to the newspaper stand, and the guy who's selling the papers, he says hello to him, and the guy kind of mumbles good morning and all of that, and then he tries to engage him and talk, and he doesn't really do anything and engage much in that, and so he hands him the money for the paper. The guy kind of shoves the paper at him. He tells him to have a nice day, and the guy just kind of stares at him. So his friend said, wow, he must be really having a bad day. The man says, no, he's like that every day. He said, so if he's like that to you every day, why are you so nice to him? And his response was, why should I allow how he acts toward me influence how I act toward him? That is responding rather than reacting. We have the choice. We can choose. We are free to make what I call empowered choices. And empowered choices are those decisions that we make, not from the perspective of coercion, from guilt, shame, fear, hopelessness, but from a recognition that we have real power. We have real power. That's what empowered choices are all about. When we understand this, we can make choices and decisions in our lives that come from a pure motive, that come from us understanding and knowing all that is, and knowing that it is flowing through us, guiding and directing us to make these choices. So no longer do we rationalize that this is what people will want me to do. This is what will make me popular. This will make me seem this way or that way. But we make them. And so we're no longer asking, what would other people want me to do? What will my parents, what would my significant other, what would those people around me want me to do? We even get away from asking the question, what would Jesus do? What would Jesus do? Because the Christ consciousness is within us and it is guiding and directing us. So rather than having to ask that question, there is a knowing that guides us and lets us know already in situations and circumstances. I think about, let this same mind be in you that was also in Christ Jesus, that Christ consciousness. And Jesus in his teaching, when he talked about being forced to walk a mile, he said instead of walking 1 mile, to walk 2. That if somebody asked of your shirt, give them your cloak too. And what he was really saying in this, he was not talking about allowing people to trample over us or to push us around or anything like that. But he was talking about empowered choices. That no longer are you forcing me to do something, but I choose to do something. I choose. When he went on to say that no one takes my life, but I lay it down, choosing to do something. Knowing that we have within ourselves our own power, knowing that within ourselves we have our own ability, knowing that within ourselves we have our own choices and we have the ability and the freedom to be able to do that. To be able to make an empowered choice, we have to know our motivation. When we make choices to please others or to gain acceptance, or it's because whatever everybody else is doing, we know how those things end up. They end up biting us in the butt. And the thing about an empowered choice, oftentimes it might look identical to a choice that we make out of guilt or shame or fear, but they're not. Empowered choice is when we are clear why it is that we're choosing to do something and we operate from that, when we recognize that we are divinely free. An empowered choice is one that's made in the face of what might appear to be contrary circumstances. Where in the case where there might be, the normal reaction might be to be fearful, and yet we choose to be calm. We might be expected to be worried, but we choose to be confident. We might be expected to have a vengeful attitude toward people or toward things, but we choose to be forgiving and loving. So many other things, we make empowered choices because we recognize and realize the true motivation, the true kinds of things in which we are operating from. We recognize making empowered choices are important choices. We recognize that is a recognition of us being divinely free. A story that you know that I love is when the little girl was standing up in the car and her mother was telling her to sit down, and she told her once, sit down, and she continued to stand. She told her again to sit down. She continued to stand. She told her, I'm not going to tell you another time to sit down. So finally the young lady sat down, but she said to her mother, I want you to know that I might be sitting down on the outside, but I'm still standing on the inside. That attitude, that recognition, that knowing that we're divinely free, knowing there's ultimately not anything that can hold us back, knowing that we have the opportunity and the choice to make these empowered choices. We can change our thinking. We can change our lives. We can see things happening for us because we are our own divine agents of activity. We're our own divine agents of bringing forth the outcome in which we wish to see and to have happen. We can do the kinds of things that we wish to do to make those things happen through our setting our intentions as we are in this new year, setting our intentions for the new year, visualizing the results, doing the things to magnetize it happening for us, and then being open and available to the operation of spirit to cause it to come forth. You and I are free. You might ask the question, compared to what? Compared to all of the ways of thinking and all of the ways of acting that would try to put limits and limitations on us, that will try to hold us back, that will try to instill fear in us. That there is something that is available to us to make a change, to be new people, to be new creatures, to be a new creation, to understand what truly it means to be born again. That in this moment we have a new revelation, a new realization, and things begin to happen for us in this new year. This is the time, and this is the place, and this is our opportunity. All truly is well. And so it is.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. But now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, gotta let it go. Gotta let it all go. Are you listening? You got to let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open. Yes, I